The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released the timetable for the next round of elections in Nigeria. Now, according to the timetable, the Presidential and National Assembly will hold on the 16th of February 2019, while the governorship, the State Assembly and Federal Capital Territory Council area will hold on the 2nd of March 2019. Now, that is set. So what's left now is for the political parties to meet up with this time. But more importantly, is that there are ways to make the elections to be declared credible, free, fair and conclusive. And that is what we'll be discussing on this episode of Big Story. I'm Amy Thompson. The general election of 2015 in Nigeria will remain alive on the mind of the world for a long time, for at least the record that was set where a ruling party was defeated at the highest level of governance. The then President, Goodluck Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party, had about 12.9 million votes against President Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress with about 15.4 million votes. With the unusual scenario of an incumbent replaced by an opposition, the impression on the mind of many, both within and outside the country, was that the election was the voice of the people and it was free and fair. A major factor which has been attributed to the acceptance of the 2015 election result was the introduction of the technological tools which is believed to help reduce the cases of electoral impunity and guarantee the sanctity of the vote. For instance, the use of smart cards, which is a technological device set up to authenticate and verify the permanent voter card (PVC). However, the use of the card reader generated debate among the election stakeholders before, during and after the 2015 general elections. One of such debates was the legality of the use of the device. This is about to be put to rest with the consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act No. 6, 2010 and for other related matters.
1337.
The new bill covers provision for the use of electronic voting by INEC during future elections, use of card reader, and also gives INEC power to modify the voting process if there is a challenge. The Senate also approved a provision to enable INEC transmit the results of elections electronically in an encrypted and secured manner to prevent hacking.
Most importantly, I think is some of the introductions we have put in the area of the technology, the smart card, and particularly the area of collation, which has been an area of great concern. Collation of results after the polling unit, and some of the addition we have put on the electronic way by which compilation of results. I think this will go a long way to reduce some of the irregularities we are seeing.
This is most appreciated by Nigerians like FIDEL AGUNBIADE, who says that his experience during the 2015 elections, when he worked with the PDP Lagos State governorship candidate Jimmy Agbaje, exposed the need for more technological innovation in the process.
The process from the INEC end is faulty in the electoral materials. I don't know why we're still doing a lot of paperwork when we can, grow up and, modernize the system to allow electronic things to take charge, and so we can minimize the paper requirement, filling forms, and yes, certain forms are necessary. Even I remember going to collect for this local government, it was a documentation for the elections, and I got to the INEC office at 9 o'clock in the morning. I left at midnight. So I had to have an escort carrying ballot papers, carrying all this, carrying all that. I wanted to learn, so for me it was important that I understand the flow and all that. A lot of those things, INEC has to grow up and start doing things the proper way. So that once you start to do things electronically, you begin to, first of all, it may look expensive when you're starting, but as you go along, you start to see the difference. And then you minimize people's interference into the system.
Other deliberations by the Senate include the conduct of primaries to choose a flag bearer.
Under the situation, we indicate that the second runner-up, no matter how lowly placed, should be declared. In my own opinion, does not reflect a good representation of the flag bearer as far as that election is concerned.
I think if an election was conducted, the first runner-up was there, the second runner-up, it's morally right that the second person in position should take that place. Because if you say you want to go for another rerun of another election, it's going to have a disjointment in the process.
To those in favor that we maintain the status quo as it exists now, right, and delete what is being recommended here. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And so it's back to status quo that if a flag bearer is disqualified at the primaries, the first runner-up replaces him irrespective of how many delegates voted for him or her. Related to this is an amendment on Section 33.
We now amend Section 33 to read that no political party shall be allowed to change or substitute its candidate whose name has been submitted pursuant to Section 32 of this Act, except in the case of death or withdrawal by the candidate, provided that in such instance that the party should conduct a fresh primaries to determine the new candidate.
Again, just for clarity, that provided that in such circumstances where the case of death or withdrawal by the candidate, the party should hold a fresh primaries to determine the candidate. Those in favor that this stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Distinguished Leader of the Senate.
The presence of INEC officials to authenticate the conduct of primaries was also debated.
The party is supposed to nominate its candidate. If somebody conducts a parallel primary somewhere and has a way in INEC to submit a name, the party, you cannot separate the party from conducting primaries. So the one that should be accepted by INEC should be the one that has been approved by the neck of the party.
We have insisted in prior provisions that any of such primaries must be monitored by INEC.
Other amendments to the Electoral Act would be recommended by a 24-man committee tagged Constitutional and Electoral Reforms Committee, led by former Senate President Ken Nnamani. Although they have the mandate to look into possible amendment to the Constitution and Electoral Act and come out with a more robust and generally acceptable electoral system,